What do you do when your dog says no? Wallace is a driven, intense, and sometimes challenging adolescent Malinois mix, and he is in training with me. I'm Zach George, and this is the Dog Training Revolution. Click thumbs up and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Having things your dog likes is one of the first steps, and there isn't much that dogs love more than a fresh, brand new BarkBox or Super Chewer box.
The secret about this toy is that it's two toys. You can get a glimpse of the second toy that's underneath right there.
It puts you in a position to have those things that your dog wants at your fingertips, including toys that are designed for cognitive enrichment like treat hiding, puzzles, and interactive play.
Look at this. I love how it wobbles. I put some treats in there. This is such an innovative toy.
Look at that. Can you see his tongue going in there? If your dog likes all kinds of toys, you might want to consider a BarkBox. And if they need ultra tough toys, Super Chewer is the box for y'all. For our audience, when you use our special links, you're gonna get double the toys and double the treats. That's 4 quality toys and 4 bags of treats in your first box. I'll have links below. What do you do when your dog hesitates or refuses to do something? What if I told you the fastest way forward is to actually let your dog control what happens next?
Oh my gosh, we're gonna let our dogs be in control of the process?
Dogs clearly show us when they're willing, and just as importantly, when they're not.
He's a little nervous of me.
Now I know to our audience this might be a little surprising, but a lot of trainers still claim that dogs can't or shouldn't be put in a position to give consent, or they outright reject consent-based training. I mean, here's Michael Ellis. This guy's been around for a minute.
Consent, we don't get dogs' consent for anything ultimately, unfortunately. Like, they're not able to give consent.
And thankfully, a caller rightfully calls in to clear up this misinformation.
It's unfortunate that Michael thinks dogs, or any other animal for that matter, can't give consent. Consent and choice-based training strategies are widespread at this point and extremely effective. Tigers, elephants, gorillas, etc. are being trained on a very widespread level without the use of aversives, and they are often asked to opt into the training. So the idea that we can't teach other animals consent, that that's a human thing, is kind of offensive.
We're familiar with the likes of Balabanov over here.
Unlike humans, dogs lack the cognitive capacity to provide informed consent. This communication barrier prevents dogs from effectively expressing their true desires or concerns.
But here's what those folks are missing. Dogs do express consent. They just don't use words. And modern behavioral science confirms this across countless species. That includes dogs. Respecting consent actually makes training your dog easier, it makes it faster, and more effective. So what does getting consent actually mean when you're training your dog? It's about giving them as much choice as possible. For example, Wallace has never worn a harness before. Of course, I could just shove it on him and hope he tolerates it, but if you've ever tried that, you probably know how that goes. It's likely to make him trust me less. So let me show you how I introduce it to him with the aim of gaining his consent.
My first priority is to make sure the dog feels comfortable with the harness right from the beginning. Start by just having the harness on the ground, even if it's across the room. You might even try throwing treats near the harness to get them comfortable with approaching it.
You can see here, Wallace is off leash. He's free to walk away, but he's choosing to stay here and interact with me. And that is an example of implied consent. How do you know if your dog is giving consent? Watch their body language. Are they relaxed? Are they curious? Are they moving toward you? It's also about recognizing when they're saying no. A dog that resists, moves away, or disengages is communicating just as clearly as one that eagerly participates. If they hesitate, move away, or show discomfort, slow down. Doing this will ironically speed up your training progress.
Once you see that they're comfortable with the harness on the ground, you can pick it up, perhaps touch it on their shoulder or their chest, throwing some treats on the ground as you do this in order to communicate to them, hey, I love what you're doing here. Now, in a perfect world, our goal is to get our dog to voluntarily put their head through the harness on their own. All right, let's see what happens. Here.
This is some of the most fundamental training you can do to improve your relationship with your dog. You can apply these steps to anything your dog might be hesitant about.
Once your dog is comfortable putting their head through the harness, take it off immediately. That way we can get them really comfortable with one step at a time. Eventually you can work up to fastening the harness. I got 2 more straps, but notice how I didn't rush to get the other 2 done. Okay, good man, here you go.
But what if your dog doesn't consent? It usually comes down to 3 things. They haven't had enough positive experiences yet, so they just might need a bit more practice. There might be distractions in the environment making it difficult to focus. That's something that this series will help you prepare your dog for. Or it's fear or discomfort that is making them hesitant. Consent-based training helps you spot these issues early, so you can adjust before they become bigger issues.
The key here is not doing this when you have to get the harness on them. Yes!
But Zach, what if it's an emergency? I hear you. Sometimes we don't have the luxury of waiting for consent, like in a medical emergency, or if we're trying to keep our dogs safe from oncoming traffic. That's exactly why teaching consent right now is so important.
There's a handle on this harness. I want to make sure that he's comfortable with the handle here in case I have to restrain him.
Dogs trained with neuro-affirming, positive, consent-based methods form stronger attachments and recover from stress faster. That makes emergencies easier to deal with for both your dog and you.
And you can see he's noticing it. Yes. Every time I do it, those big ears direct their attention. See that? Yes. Good man. But he reacted really healthy there. That was pretty smooth, wasn't it? But you can see how when we start off our relationship with kindness, with openness, with a willingness to let him explore and be part of the process instead of just imposing our will to put the harness on quickly, it really enables us to do much more sophisticated, amazing things later when we want to. I know what you're saying. What's your super easy homework today? It's to introduce anything new to your dog.
And get double the toys and treats from BarkBox and Super Chewer.
I will have links below.
We have over 1,000 videos on my channel, just like this one, that will show you everything you need to know about training your dog just about anything. Click thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed because our content is always evolving and we're always learning new things and trying to bring that to you. Check out my books.
Follow us on social, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, and we'll see you in the next video.